I feel in this video I'm cheating on the original Find the Cheeses, but we are giving another game a go in this video. Thank you so much for choosing my video. If you do find it helpful, if you can leave it a like, drop me a comment, and of course hit that subscribe button to help support my channel. So I have ordered this video by location, not by the order that I found the cheeses in. If you do get stuck with any of the quest items or the cheeses, I do have an order list available in my video description, and I have included some timestamps to the relevant areas for you. Please do drop me a comment. I'm always happy to help if you do need some more help. But here we go. We are going to go ahead and find the cheeses. So the cheeses themselves, the design, they're very simplistic. Obviously that lends itself to the index. I'm not so keen on some of the overlays they've put on the characters, but it's fine, I know what they are. The maps are reasonably simplistic, but they have paid attention to the detail. I know exactly what map I'm in, so this is where they are really simple and effective. This game has been really enjoyable. It is highly recommended by myself, even though I feel really bad for saying that, because obviously I'm a big fan of bats finding the cheeses. But this one does have these lovely quest elements. You've got to go off and find various different items through the maps. We've got some codes, some puzzles. This has just been really enjoyable. They're slightly more challenging, but they are still kind of that accessible level to younger players of Roblox as well. I've completed them, no problems. What I do like as well about this is that it is also a badge game, and you know I'm a big fan of the party and the confetti throw when I found something, so again that's just a lovely little touch to this game. You can see at the top of the screen when you join, so you do have a time one, so you have to play for 10 minutes in order to get that one. So I would like the cave or the mountain, whatever this is, to look a bit more like a natural formation. I always think it looks a bit weird when it's a bit rectangular. You do have the option, as you can see in the kind of spawn area, to rebirth if you want to have a go and redo the whole game again. They've got some lovely little hidey holes here, and there's no cheeses in them. Like, I would be putting stuff in there, or at least some of the objects as well. So making our way up here. And this is the first of our quest items. So this is the gem for the king. The king is a teleport in itself, so I haven't done like that in its own little kind of map, because it's just which order you find the gems in. I love the pong for like smelly cheese, stinky cheese. So, for the clown, ignore it. I obviously touched it thinking you had to explode them on the different maps. You don't, it's a troll. So I will show you that in a moment, so just look for clown. We've also found the first of our Lebron basketballs. And of course, I've got to go the most awkward way possible for builder. There is actually a ladder. If there's a complicated way, you'll know I'm going to take it. We found a second chicken cutlet, so I will deal with that later on in the video. Don't worry, that is something we pick up in City. This is where I say the overlay. So I love the #1 mum mug, but I hate the wig on it. It doesn't fit the cheese, and it would have been nice for that to have been drawn. We found the first of our junior hats. Again, you've got an opportunity to maybe interact with items on the map. So for example, the computer, and then we could go into a cyber map. That's always something I sort of recommend when there's computers in here. The baseball bat down the side of the bed. If you give that a click, this is going to teleport us through to Junior's older brother. I don't know why through the bottom of the map, obviously you can see these balls and squares and stuff. It's a little bit off-putting. But making our way over the obby, and we have baseball cheese. Again, they've got a couple of items overlaid. They don't have arms or hands to hold them, but we will go with it. We won't think about the logic there. This is a lovely little element. So these are riddles, and there's a series of them around the maps. So obviously I light the night with silver glow, in silent skies I rise and show, which is of course the moon, and this will give you a digit for a code. You don't obviously have to go round and solve these riddles, I'm only showing you them for fun. I will give you the code when we get to space where the main terminal is. And we find leaf on top of the tree there. Moving round now into our next area of snow. Again, it's very simple. I know that I'm in snow. If they wanted to put more stuff in, you could have the snowflakes falling and stuff like that. This again is why I say this has some great elements to this game. I mean, you've got this little run here with the snowballs. And just typical, one has to spawn over my head. I'm at the very end and then I get squished by a snowball. It's quite hard to predict actually where these snowballs are going to appear. And can you believe it? It's happened again. Third time is the charm. Third time, come on. And then these snowballs seem to go crazy and they start to kind of appear together. But we've managed to get up this time, thankfully. And then we have an obby. So again, the developer has been really kind of thinking of the user experience. So if you die here at this point, you just go back to the start of the obby. You don't go back to spawn and have to do the snowballs all over again. So that is a really nice touch that I certainly appreciate. And again, like, the obbies aren't crazy hard, they're nice and simple. And the last ball turn, and we find the Snow King. See, I prefer that where the kind of crown looks more drawn. I think it's more in keeping with the index rather than sticking the various different items on top and it not quite fitting. We find the first of our snowman items, which is the hat, and then we find snow right next to it. We find the yeti. I love the mouth on that, I don't know why. We find another snowman part here. And again, ignore the clown. I was on the thinking that I had to click it for every single map. It's not, ignore it. We find the next one of our king. As you can see, we're starting to get the idea. There's quite a few quests in this game. So for winning cheese, so if you interact with them here, this does nothing really. I'll show you where they are, but it's basically in the castle. So again, having the conversation and then they will give you a riddle. So essentially it's telling you right there in the middle of that riddle, seek the throne. So I will show you that when we get there though. Going inside the house and we have grandma cheese. At least the hair and the glasses are a little bit better placed on that one. We have our next snowman parts. So to put the fire out, you need to go to the curd shop, so either through city or the teleport. And then with your money on the right hand side, you buy the fire extinguisher. You come back, when you put the fire out, you get firefighter and then run into the fireplace to get fire. Love that one. We also have another terminal, so I'm not a planet, I have a tail, I fly through the sky, it's a comet. And I've really enjoyed these riddles as well. So we have our next snowman part. I don't think they're going to have much luck there with fishermen fishing a frozen pond. So that one is quite long with 9 items to find in the quest. And we have just found our 5th and final snowman element, and then that one comes up. Moving on to our next area of the castle. And we have started another quest. So this is the first of one of our employee reports. So this is what you need for like the main boss in the office in the city. Lollipop's a little bit weird. It kind of looks like a straw. I don't know. I didn't get lollipop from that. We do find another terminal. And this one is the more you take from me, the bigger I become. What am I? This did take me a little while to figure out, and it was actually my partner that came up with the answer. And it's hole. Of course, the more you dig, the bigger the hole becomes. That's like one of those riddles where it's so obvious when you know what the answer is. You could have had something in that stable if you put it in, you know, fill it out. You could do an animal cheese to go in there. It's quite simple. I would have liked to have gone into some of the houses as well. They've got a real Tudor kind of historical vibe to them. Again, ignore the clown. Me want turkey sandwich. Oh, why turkey? That's like the driest meat going. Into the castle itself, we find another basketball. Again, ignore the clown. We have another one of the king's gems. So there we are, we have hit the 10 minutes and we have got time cheese. See, these are the ones that I'm not so keen on. Like, the hat doesn't fit. I like it, but it's like, no, it doesn't fit the cheese itself, so it's not really got a purpose, has it? You just shoot the side of it, wouldn't you? Again, it might have been nice to actually have hand drawn that so it fitted. But we have found the next of our junior hats. Again, they could have done a teleport with the flag. That might have been something, flag cheese. What they haven't done a lot of in this game yet is sort of veiled entrances to run through things to go and get some. So again, that's another element they could bring to this game. Again, I don't like the hat. So do you remember winning cheese? And we were talking about the throne. So give the throne a click and we are taken through to this area. So making our way over the obby, and that is winning. Now, there's also another one in here, so going back to the start, would I say this looked like lava? No. The kill bricks, yeah, and the orange, but maybe a texture pack to make it look like lava would have been better. But this is where you click on this brick here, and it takes you through to lava cheese. But then don't go anywhere. Do you notice the odd looking book? Well, the clue is in the hint with Clown saying he likes joke books, and clicking on that you get teleported through to Clown Cheese. Again, I love that. I love that it brings the hint in but it's not obvious. It is a bit more challenging. Moving around now to the desert. And we have mummy cheese. So again, we've got a code, which is another lovely element. So you've got bug, eye, hand. This is bringing in the kind of hieroglyphic kind of graphics on a statue in the corner, but I will get to that in a moment. I don't know if I like the blend of sort of Wild West with Egypt, the kind of Egyptian feel. I probably would have stuck like Wild West as a map by itself and then had like all the Egypt stuff in a map of its own as well. So Sheriff Cheese, we've got to do a bit of a physical exam now, and we're going through the obby. So what do you do when you find a criminal? Well, we're not going to hug them, are we? So we're going to arrest them. I don't get what the maths is, but I'm going to have to take a punt at one of these because I can't compute that in my head. So I'll go red. What is the thing that criminals go in? Jail. And then they've literally trolled you and you've just literally run straight into a drop. I guess that's always being alert and looking out for these potential booby traps when you're a sheriff, isn't it? I should have been on my guard more. So jumping on the bookshelf, we can run over. We find the next of our employee reports. I'm quite surprised they didn't have prisoner in the jail. Again, that could have been a quest to go off and find the key. Saloon is spelt wrong, sorry, I have to mention it, but yes, it's only one L in saloon. We have sad cheese, and then we have the next of our terminals. So it says you can't see me, but I'm pulling you. The heavier I am, the more you move. So gravity, we've got a space theme going on here. I also love how it's sort of like waiting for answer, like you're taking long, you're thinking, come on. Round the back of the saloon, and we have Creek Craft cheese. JudgementTV would make a fine cheese. I have a cheese already, but I'd love another one. Hint, hint, hint. But it's asking for their wig, and that's by VOLCANO. So round the back of the volcano area, you can see it's got these kind of red glittery bits. You grab the wig, and it is in your index at the bottom of the screen there. And then all you need to do is go back, interact, and give the wig. It's such a shame that they don't actually put it on some kind of scripting, but again, it's a nice little side quest to this game. Ignore clown, I've already showed you how to do that. We find the next of our junior hats. And then this is where those kind of hieroglyphics come in that I told you about around the back of Mummy. So we need to count how many bugs, how many hands, and how many eyes. Well, you don't have to because I'm going to give it to you now, but obviously if it changes, that is what you need to do. So we've counted all 3 now. And then back round mummy. And the code is 756. And then we're teleported through to this area, and it didn't even twig, and I touched the mummy. Obviously I don't know why I did that, but it's obviously something that's going to kill you. A little bit annoying, it takes you back to spawn, so luckily there is a teleport available in this game. Again, another nice touch. But going back, 756, and I'm not going to touch the cheese. But again, this is a lovely different factor to this game. It's another addition, a different thing to do. So again, I've really enjoyed it because of these little side elements to this game. Whoa, they all zoomed at me then. But we have made it to the back, and this is where you get Pharaoh. It was at this point I was hoping there was nothing else in there. Again, you could have made it a bit harder and put a quest object in there just to make people run round the other side of the maze, maybe. We have found another one of the king's gems. The tumbleweeds are a bit pointless. There's one there, and then there is another one in city. Yet they don't have tumbleweed cheese. On to beach now. So again, we've got another one of Lebron's basketballs. You had the perfect opportunity to have a click through to the sandcastle. Beach felt slightly empty, like the beach part itself. So, okay, coconut cheese, but it looks like a coconut. So again, like, that's a little bit different to the rest of the index. Fish cheese. So you will notice that there are a load of fish here in the water, and you can eat them. I will show you why, but it is something you're going to have to do, but we'll get onto that in a moment. I didn't think it was a quest because obviously they kept reappearing. Those purple things as well are important, which I'll show you in a moment. I thought it was seaweed, it's not. So we have a submarine here, so I love the little periscope bit. Clicking on the actual eye of the periscope, we get teleported through, and this is for scuba diver. Again, like, a submarine wouldn't be in the floor, it would be in the water, and you could have made it look a little bit more like a submarine with like the porthole showing maybe. So we have pirates. That beard, oh my god. It's like one of those classic fake ones. Clicking on the actual, what do you call it? Clicking on the steering wheel thing. I don't know what you call that thing. There's a name for it, isn't there? But this is how we go ahead and get Captain Cheese. And I love that it's obviously Captain Hook. So there's hints around. So you can see the number 5 in the skull there. Number 7 is on the seats. Number 2 on the coin. And then you can see the hint there. And I will say, it's at this moment it hasn't even dawned on me that there's another hint. I just thought there's 3 numbers. This is why you need to have a good look around the room that you're in. I'm like, I'm sure that's the number. That is the number. In the last 3 seconds, I'm like, oh no, there's barrels. So we need to go back now. So now that I know there's another number, I'm not going to bother searching around. I'm just going to do my usual trick. I've got 60 seconds to work out what that final number is. So the code you need is 5279. That beard looks like it's been cut out of a bear. It doesn't look like a real beard. So for Kraken, you need to click on the purple tentacles. Now they don't look like tentacles. I know what they are now, but it might be nice to have some finishing touches of like the suckers on the bottom, so at least you know they are tentacles. It would have been awesome to have actually had sort of the Kraken in the bottom of the sea or off the edge of the map, so it looks like it's coming into the sea. But once you've got all 5, then you will get teleported through to Kraken. So remember me saying about the fish? So there's a 4% chance you get him by eating fish. So I was thinking 4%, oh man, I'm going to be here for ages. In all honesty, it didn't take that long, so just keep eating the fish and shark will appear. One thing as well I kind of like as well is the clouds coming out the bottom of my feet. It makes me feel like I'm swimming and running really fast. And I don't, the fish, it looks like they've got bum holes in the bottom of their fins. Like, is that a design flaw? I don't know, but now I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Oh, my mind. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, fish don't have that black thing at the bottom of their tail. I certainly don't think they do. But there we go, we've got shark cheese, and for some reason it feels like that fin's back to front. I don't know why. Moving around now to space. Again, we've got Lebron's basketball. So this is the main terminal itself, so I will give you the full code. So the code here is 37185. Again, really enjoyed that quest to get the numbers and the riddles. And then we enter the eternal darkness. And then you have to sacrifice one of your cheeses. Oh man, that's so bad. So obviously be smart here. So sacrifice one that you're not particularly bothered about. So obviously carrot cake I have bought in the shop. So I'm just going to sacrifice that one. It won't actually sacrifice until you rejoin, but you do get Interstellar. Again, a tad annoying you go back to spawn and not back to the terminal. We have the next one of our King's Gems. And this is the final one. So again, we're going to get teleported through to King. This was a complete guess because I don't know much about this game or this developer. But there we go, that is King Cheese. You could have potentially have had the king then sat on their throne and actually interacted with the castle where they would have likely to have been. Dotted around space you will see these glyphs. So clicking on them, this is the first of our alien king glyph. And again, there's opportunities to send you to another area of space because they haven't done planets, star, all of that lot that you could bring into this area as well. So So that is 3 of the glyphs. They're nice and easy to spot. They're super bright. We have moon cheese. Again, you could have had moon cheese from the obviously legend that the moon's made of cheese. We have another one of Junior's hats here. I mean, if I was Junior's mom, I would not be impressed with how many hats this child has lost. But that is number 5. We find our next glyph, and of course the clown that you just need to ignore. And the final one is just underneath the rocket there. So it says the end of the alien obby. So making our way to the alien spaceship now. Temporarily getting my retinas burnt. I never know with the neon stuff if it's kill bricks or a drop. I'm pretty certain it's a mixture of both here. But again, it's not a strenuous obby, thankfully. I didn't die on this one, so I don't know if you go back to the start or back to spawn. But that is alien. And then we can see a path has now appeared on the side. So this is obviously our king alien. Dropping down, and there we go. In actual fact, I went up here by chance because I saw that it was illuminated. So clicking the end of the rocket, and again, what a lovely addition to this game. Something different yet again. So you have to survive the Emperor's trial. So it's just a case of jumping the lasers when they come across. Thankfully, I mean, you could have made that really hard and had the floor dropping at the same time. But it's not difficult. They just get quicker from different directions. And there we go, we've found Emperor cheese. I love they're sort of bringing in Star Wars to that. You could make a lot more on that theme. Moving around now to the city. So you see Slug Curd shop here. So you don't have to come to city, you can teleport to it in the menu. I don't know is it stealth frog or steel something frog cheese? But they're asking for 2 packs of gum. That's really reminded me of Wrigley's gum that in the paper that I haven't had since I was like a teenager. Again, there's an option to do a bit more in terms of teleports from the shop. You know, you have produce all on the shelves, so you could find the particular one that teleports you through. Nothing with the freezers either, like, you know, you could actually walk into one, or again, a click and a teleport. There's not too much in terms of job roles either, so again, cashier could have been in there behind the counter. Between the shop and the bank, we have our first pack of gum. The fact that it's glowing, sort of radioactive, I wouldn't be eating that gum. I don't know why you've got sleepy cheese in the bank. They waited that long to get served. Clicking onto the actual picture, you get teleported through to Picasso. And then whilst you're here, grab some money, and it's exactly $3. I mean, it's not good stealing from the bank, but if they're going to leave it lying all over the floor. Oh, we've got nerd cheese, and you know what's going to happen now. Busy doing maths, and in fact you've got to talk to them, you know what's going to come up, it's going to be a quiz. And maths is not my strongest subject, but luckily I can do 1 + 1, that's 2. I can do 2 × 2, that's 4, and I felt really brainy at this point. 20, nice easy maths. A little bit harder, but obviously you can work it out. And again, percentages, 10%. Hit that one out the park. I have reached elementary school or like primary school level. Woohoo! So just as a recap where all the basketballs are: in the castle, on the mainland, on the beach, in space, and then there's one right next to Lebron. They're obviously a fan of Lebron because they're wearing the crown. And then talking to Lebron Cheese, you get teleported through to their obby. Again, I like that they've started to bring in the basketball theme with the basketballs, the ball holder there, and then the basketball nets. Almost fell through. Again, you probably could have gone around the back of the rim. It may have been a bit easier, but there we go. We've made it across to get Lebron. And then we've got Jalen Brunson. I don't follow basketball. I don't think I've watched it ever. So excuse me if I pronounce their name wrong. But they're asking us to hit one shot and you've got 30 seconds. So I'm not quite sure what happens with this one. I think you've got to stand by that sign and do it, is my best guess. But I kind of fluffed it and then the basketball wouldn't leave my hand and I couldn't pick up another one. So I'm not quite sure how I've managed to get that, but the sign's there, so I'm assuming you've just got to try and throw the basketball in from there. And then I was stuck with the basketball. Just mildly annoying. So there is one glowing window in the city, and this will take you through to another little obby. Again, you could remove the glitter if you wanted to make it a bit more challenging. But this is the wobble sobble cheese? What is that? Is that like a mascot for whatever team that was on the back? I don't know. I don't follow sports. So again, that's the kid-friendly juice for this saloon. So we've got the obby in both directions. So you've got the city terminal here. Again, this one took me ages to figure out. I tried so much. So I thought obviously it was universe. And then I tried sort of like night sky. I even put it in a riddle solver and AI said it was night sky. But the answer is space. Don't know how I managed to get rid of that basketball, but it's ideal. Remember the money that we grabbed? The exactly $3. So this is the person that you give it to, and this is McGregor cheese. I don't know McGregor who that's supposed to represent. You can also see that we've got another badge for getting 50 cheeses. So again, that's another nice badge to have. This area here is a little bit random with a beach up here, but we have beach bird and then we also have chillin as well. So again, I just sat on the sun lounger and I think maybe you sit on it and hit your head on the umbrella and this will teleport you through to that one. We have skydiver, so That one would have actually been a great one to have mid-air. And then we found the other pack of gum on that side obby there. That goatee's making me laugh. So now we're doing the office itself. So here's that other random tumbleweed that doesn't do anything. Again, the office is nicely filled out. We have the office cheese with their tie, very smart. Clicking on the computer screen, and this is going to take us through to error. Again, another bright, luminous obby. No idea if they're drops or kill bricks, but they get very small. The pattern on the wall for me feels like missing texture rather than error. I'm so used to seeing that checkerboard as missing texture. But a very dapper error cheese with their top hat on. We find Junior's next hat on the desk. Again, there's an opportunity to maybe use those filing cabinets for a code, so you have to open up all the drawers. Rat cheese. I have actually worked in an office that had mice. All of your food had to go in plastic boxes. But the cheese is actually under the office cheese's desk there. No wonder why they've got rats keeping cheese under their desk. Or maybe it's actually quite funny because of cheesy feet and it's where the feet would go of the office worker. Give it to the rat and there we go. And then making our way up to the final level, and we have the third and final employee report. Hopefully they're all good, but this will allow you through to the main boss's area. So we've got the big boss. I told you not to disturb me during my working hours. And then the boss gets in a rage, and again it's a lovely little addition with the kind of lasers. So they start off pretty slow and then they just get quicker and quicker. So I have just fast forward. This one is slightly longer. I mean, if the big boss man was in a rage, like maybe you could have had like keyboards being chucked at you at the same time and computer screens and pens. But there we go, we have survived and got big boss man. We have the next one of Junior's hats. And oh dear, we have a cheese that has been run over with a doctor there attending. So the doctor is asking for a med kit from the shop. Car cheese reminds me of Mr. Bean sat on his Mini because they're not inside the car. But there we go, we can buy the med kit for 100. And I know you shouldn't delay patient care, but whilst we're here, we will get carrot cake and the pickaxe. So again, remember you need all of these items from the shop for different cheeses. Water cheese is in the fountain. Again, sorry to the person who's run over. You know, I am delaying your patient care. But not to worry, he's alive thanks to me. Great job. So for Bobithicilla, what is that? So this is where we need the chicken cutlets. What is a chicken cutlet? Is that a nugget? Is that what we call chicken nuggets? But anyway, you have one by the house. The next one is on the tree here. Again, hopefully this should be easy to spot with their glitter. And then we already found one at the start of the video down by this cheese. There we go. that is 3 of the 5. Teleporting to snow. It was quite easy actually to find these when you read the clue, because they said they put it on trees and not every map has trees. And there is number 4. And then going back to the city, and number 5 is by Bobicilia, whatever his name is, right next to it there. And then going back, I'm just going to call you Jeff, that's right. It's quite funny because I can't pronounce that name, so your name is going to be Jeff. Moving around now to the zoo. Again, you can teleport into it. We have parrot. And we have frog. I do like the frog one. The kind of boggly eyes. Again, lion with the kind of ring round its face, not so keen on, but there is a button on their water trough. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to do, if the lions were supposed to actually come at me, but they just stayed where they were. So this area was just a little bit random. Imagine sort of running past and having to throw like stakes at them to try and keep them away. But that is lion cheese. Again, I'm just not so keen on that design. I know it's supposed to be the main. Into monkey, and monkey is asking for a banana. Very good manners, pretty please. We find another one of Junior's hats. So teleporting back to spawn or the mainland, and we actually have an obby, so you can see the banana on the tree there. Going back to the zoo again, you can see the bananas in our index at the bottom. I don't know if you can grab 2. If you can, grab 2. But given the monkey, the banana, and oh, I forgot I had one already, thanks. And then you will need to go back, or this is where I say grab 2. And again, it wasn't sort of obvious that this was the item you had to put on the pedestal, but again, I love it. Because of course, what would the Monkey King want? A banana! Why do people ask me, is this the real JudgementTV? Who's going to be impersonating myself? Like, I'm very flattered that you think people would, but my channel's not that big yet. So the first of the King's trials is a speed one, nice and easy. Now we have an obby one. You do have 60 seconds, so if you do fluff it, obviously you have got a bit of time to try it again. And then the third is a riddle. So I don't actually know what a bonobo is. And then I know what an orangutan and gibbon. So the only thing that I could think about walking and singing was the gibbon. So I did take a chance, and luckily it was right. And then to finish off the city, we've got this area at the back. And again, this is just a simple obby round to go ahead and get void. I don't know what's going on with the hat for void. I don't know. Moving round now to volcano. So we've got a code to get into the bomb one, but dropping down here on the back of the volcano, and this is telekinesis. I'm so glad that they didn't follow suit with find the fridges with the conveyors that you had to jump on. That was a really hard telekinesis one. Sorry, telekinetic. So there is Creekcraft's wig. I know there wouldn't be much around a volcano, but compared to the other maps, this one felt a little bit bare. You know, in Graveyard could have been something by itself, a sort of a horror themed or like a Halloween themed kind of island in its own. It's a bit random to have a graveyard next to a volcano, unless of course it's all the residents that lived by said volcano and now don't. Again, neon retina burning. It does bring a bit of challenge to this obby, doesn't it, really? And that is spider. And we have dead cheese. But again, there's so much more. I would love to see kind of what a cheese's skeleton looks like. Obviously, zombies, another one that you could have. So entering the code around the map, which is 3929. This was really simple, so they could make that harder. It could also be sort of like a minefield, so you don't know where the bombs are, and then you run over, go back, run over, go back if you hit one. Quite surprised there was nothing at the top of the volcano, seeing as we are in the volcano island. So again, bring something in for that. On to our next area of the mines. So remember the pickaxe, you're going to need to buy that before you go into the mines. And we mine the crystal here. Again, love that interaction with the map. I love you go and buy the item. We have miner cheese. But do you see what I mean around the sort of hat that they've drawn? That is the final one, thankfully, of Junior's hats. Do not lose them again, young man. But that is those, and we teleport through to get to Junior. Again, slightly annoying, you go back to spawn. Around the walls, you will see a code. You don't have to do the code if you don't want to. It's a maths problem. I will give you said code. I felt quite clever getting it, to be fair. My maths is usually really bad. So we do need another pickaxe. And here for the mines, again, I would love a bit more. You know, you haven't got any of the kind of gold, iron, the different kind of gemstones. But we find cursed cheese entering in the code. Again, getting the other pickaxe and going back. There's quite a sneaky little one for like bat cheese or something up on that ledge, because I'm not sure if people would really look. And then again, we've got this lovely survival element. So, I mean, Herobrine, not Steve, would probably throw zombies at you. But it says, pray the zombies have mercy. So you've got to survive 45 seconds. And thanks to Preston Plays for all of his Minecraft videos, I'm just going to kite these. So essentially just run around in a circle. I'm not going to bother fighting them. I'm getting quite a collection of zombies. No, because you don't know where they're going to spawn. Obviously, I really don't need to get caught up with that massive pack of zombies I now have. That was close. But there we go, we have got Steve Cheese. Again, the hat doesn't really fit on his head. It would have been nice for them to have drawn it maybe. And on to our final world of meme. And again, there's so many more that you could have put into this area. I felt that it was really underutilized. There's not actually many cheeses here. What's the land of sauce and irony? So clicking on SpongeBob's picture of all things, and we are teleported through to this area. I don't quite get the connection for this one, but this is Shrek. So we've got a little quiz about Shrek. Again, I love that. Having to sing the song to remember how it starts. Shrek has judged you worthy, and there we go. I love the Elmo cheese. And then Elmo will tell you how to get Doge cheese. So we've already actually found the code. Again, that could have been an invisible truss there just to make that a bit more challenging. I don't quite know how I got there, but obviously I've run over something and got tomato. And there's so many different things that you could click on to get teleported. And then totally got me, caught me out. It says, "Psst, don't jump." So the troll is actually that there's no kill brick there at all. I should do what the sign tells me. Oh, why didn't they do a Baldy cheese? I've just seen it on the back of that block there. So I've tried a number of servers. I've desperately tried to get this. The code is 278, but Doge did not appear. I didn't get teleported anywhere. I have desperately tried and it's not worked. So unfortunately for me, I can't get that, but the code is evidently correct. I've tried talking to Elmo. I've tried not talking to Elmo. So I don't know if it's because I'm on an iPad, but if the developer does happen to see this video, if you can fix it for me, that would be brilliant. So close to 100%. But there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.